Hello, I'm Georgia Churchill, the storyteller. The California Pomo Indian people told 7 stories of Sunhawk, myths. In myths, the characters have supernatural powers. Sometimes Sunhawk seems like a hawk, and sometimes he seems like a person. In the 1900s, the older people of the Pomo tribe realized that some of the stories were being forgotten because of modern inventions. So they held a gathering, and the old folks who remembered the stories told them while 2 sisters wrote them down. The sisters checked with the elders to make sure they'd gotten everything right, and the stories, the myths, were printed in a little book. One day I came home and that little book was leaning against my front door. Oh, that was a gift. That was a wonderful thing. And therefore I am honored and delighted to share with you. In the beginning times, Coyote the Creator lived with his 2 great sons, Moonhawk and Sunhawk. Moonhawk ruled the world, and he did no work. Servants brought him his food, and his younger brother Sunhawk did all the work. But in those days, most of the work was hunting, and Sunhawk loved to hunt, so he didn't mind. One evening, as Sunhawk was flying home with squirrels that he had shot with his bow and arrow for that night's dinner, he noticed some hills that he had never paid much attention to. When he flew to the top of the hills, there was a beautiful big lake. When he flew home, he asked his great father Coyote, "What is that lake on the other side of the hills?" "Oh, that is Lake Cabatin, Clear Lake. I used to hunt ducks and geese there when I was young." "Oh, I'd like to hunt ducks and geese there. Do you think my bow and arrows would be sufficient, would be good enough?" "Oh, Sunhawk, I have something for you that's better than bow and arrows." Coyote went into his underground roundhouse and brought out a tule bag. Maybe I should tell you what tules are. They're a water grass that in long ago times and still today grow thickly all around Clear Lake, which is about 100 miles northeast of San Francisco. And the Pomo people were so clever. They could weave any kind of grass into anything. They're the world's best basket makers, I think. But they would take bunches of tules and twist them together, and they would make boats that would float, and houses and bags and, well, on with the story. Coyote brought a tule bag out from his underground roundhouse, and from it he drew a buckskin sling, a round circle of leather made from the skin of a buck, a male deer. "This is a magic buckskin sling, Sunhawk. Here, you take this smooth stone, you place it in the sling, whirl it above your shoulder 4 times, and let the stone fly. It will fly in a circle, killing everything it touches. When you have enough for your food, put a little piece of shredded tule in your hand, and be bold and unafraid. Hold up your hand, and the stone will return to you without hurting you. Then you must clean it and put it away." Sunhawk could hardly wait to use his new magic buckskin sling. He got up early the next morning. Coyote said, "There will be a tule boat for you at the edge of the lake." Sunhawk flew to the hills, and there was Lake Cabatin, Clear Lake, covered with ducks and geese, and there was a tule boat at the edge of the lake. Sunhawk coasted down to the shore, put the smooth stone inside the magic buckskin sling, whirled it above his shoulder 4 times. The stone flew in a circle, killing more than he needed. So he put some tule in his hand and held it up, and he was bold and unafraid. The stone returned to him without hurting him. He cleaned it and put it away. And then he had to go collect all those ducks and geese. So he got in the boat and rowed out onto the lake, and there were so many ducks and geese they wouldn't all fit into the boat. So Sunhawk made them all small by wishing them so. And all the small ducks and geese fit into the boat easily. When he'd gathered them all, Sunhawk let down his long golden hair. The Pomo people have black hair. I bet you know why Sunhawk had golden hair. He let down his long golden hair and put all the small ducks and geese on top of his head, drew his hair up around them, tied it in a knot and held it in place with two smooth sticks, and that's how he carried the ducks and geese home. He roasted them that night for dinner, served them to Coyote and Moonhawk, and Sunhawk was so proud of his new magic buckskin sling. And that's the end of the first of 7 Sunhawk myths.